My name is Will Betke-Brunswick, and I use they, them, and he, him pronouns. And I am a cartoonist in Boulder. I am also a MFA student at the California College for the Arts low residency MFA in comics program. So I'm like work on like longer comics and graphic novels, but then also I just make shorter cartoons and zines that I sell at zine fests and fairs around the country. So I had 3 shows scheduled for this spring. One was the Denver Small Press Fest, which has been rescheduled, but I hope that it still happens, but I don't know. And then also the Denver Zine Fest, which has been canceled until 2021. And then also the Vancouver Comic Arts Festival in Vancouver, British Columbia. And that was also canceled. So those were my like 3 big comic shows. So they were places where I would have sold comics and zines, and they didn't happen. Yeah, I just sort of finished it up yesterday. So I made a zine that was 8 pages. So a zine is like a mini comic book, or well, you can make zines from whatever you want with whatever you want in them. It's a very DIY kind of art form, but I make them with comics. So mine had like 8 comics in it. It was 8 pages long, and I made it, drawing it like first by hand and then on my iPad, and then I printed them out and bundled them up and mailed them off at the post office in Boulder yesterday to my neighbors. So my zine was about, it just had comics from like little moments in life in quarantine. So like snapshots of like starting a garden and then having it get snowed on when we had those 2 big snowstorms in April, and then about like running and living on the Boulder route and going for runs, and about like the trips outside and getting all ready in your protective gear. So just sort of like little snapshot comics. They're diary comics, which is like another whole genre of comics where people write like personal comics about their life. So they're like both humorous, but also just sort of like a little snapshot portrayal of what my existence is in quarantine. And so then I mailed them to like my 25 closest neighbors. I live on the corner of 2 streets, so like 10 down one street and 10 down the other street. So hopefully people will enjoy them and then put them in the recycling or save them or do whatever they want with them. But I hope to like connect to my neighborhood and sort of introduce myself to my neighbors, or just share some art with them, or have people just take a moment to pause and like laugh at these little silly comics that are like hyper specific to where we live. The neighborhood around Casey Middle School. So we're like across Broadway from the Mapleton Hill area. I've really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to make the comics, and the comics are sort of like I hope what I'll get out of it is more connection to my neighborhoods or my neighbors, and that they'll also get more connection to me. Like I've gotten to see my neighbors more, and I mean in the course of the quarantine I've actually introduced myself to like the other people who share a building with me. So that's been really a connective time.